Just having my second cup of tea. And we're feeling blue today. Or rather, I put a lot of blue lights on today. Tea is a very interesting thing. It's like if you aren't pouring, or rather, every rhythm comes with a certain taste when it comes to tea. I'm pouring it in this little pot, and then I'm putting it into this little teacup. And if I don't hit the rhythm right, the tea will either be too strong or not strong enough. And I think it's a wonderful metaphor for what I do because I am somebody who is devoted to reminding people that we are here to experience pressure and heat. We're here to experience discomfort. We're here to take grief and suffering and sorrow and sadness and hate and transmute it into love. And we do that physically with our bodies. We do that through pressure, containing pressure, compressing pressure, and that generates heat. That heat is the thing that helps us to burn away everything that doesn't serve us. And it's uncomfortable, it's confusing, it causes a lot of doubt. However, for the people that can actually pay attention to what's going on and that are actually paying attention to truth with a capital T, not just their story, I am one of your best friends because I will help you to awaken the lie detector in your eyes, in your ears, in your nose, in your gut, in your solar plexus, and your celiac ganglia. And it's not something that you can actually get access to in a lot of places because most people don't know what they're really accessing. They're selling a variation of it, but they don't actually understand what the source of it is. Because if you understand the source, it's kind of like Tesla versus Edison. Edison put a meter on electricity. Tesla said electricity is everywhere. What me and my partner Pasha are doing is Tesla type stuff. This stuff is everywhere. It's in every single human being's body, the ability to enlighten. All you have to do is know the right sequence of buttons to press, and it's actually not that hard. It's very, very simple. And we use two things primarily in this method to help you figure out which buttons to press that are relevant for you so that you can live the life that's most authentic to you, so that you can be robust, so that you can feel safe doing this as well. This is not just about pushing through and just manipulating yourself. This is about number one, your mental frameworks, your paradigms, which is where we use human design. And number two, your nervous system. And the way we start training your nervous system is first through the eyes, getting your eyes unglued from your head, getting your eyes out of this locked in with what's ever in front of you and being able to access left, right, up, left, up and center, cross and convergence without becoming disoriented. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, or you want to test your nervous system, just cross your eyes, look up, smell, swallow, and blow a cool stream of air as though you're trying to cool down a hot cup of tea. Cross your eyes even harder. And if you start to get disoriented, what that is your body is telling you that, hey, we need to work on this. We need to work on our ability to regulate, not from a neurotic, something is wrong with me point of view, from a reflexive, when we get thrown off balance, how does our body respond automatically so that we can come back into balance, how we can come back into harmony. And so that's a little mini spiel on what I do, or what me and my partner do in our membership, and what I'm here on the planet to do, which is remind you that you're a human being before you're ever a CrossFitter, a yoga, or a banker, a father, anything. You're first a human being, and all of those identities exist underneath that umbrella. However, we spend so much time strengthening the ideas and the versions of ourselves that are under the umbrella as opposed to actually strengthening the umbrella. And then we wonder why we're wet all the time. Is my shirt opalescent? Oh, dude, it kind of does look like that, doesn't it? I got blue lights on, and then I also have, this is kind of like a blue, there's a blue background in here. But anyway, enough about me, guys. How can I help you? I just wanted you guys to have a kind of overarching understanding of what it is, or how I help people. Because how I help people is really, I just give them an opportunity to help themselves. And if they don't do that, then I let them know that that's what's happening. One thing that I like to say often is that none of my spaces are safe spaces. In fact, if I'm doing my job right, my spaces are the spaces that are just beyond your safety zone. In that, not that you're going to get bullied, but there might be some things that might trigger you, or I like the word activate, they might activate you. Because if you're constantly looking for safe spaces, that would be the same as if I was a fighter or if I played chess. And all I wanted to do was find people that suck at chess so that I could always be on top. When people talk about feeling seen, feeling validated, any of the like fluffy new age language, most of the time the truth is that they want someone to validate them where they're at. The unfortunate mishap with this situation, doing things to be seen, doing things to feel validated, etc., is that what oftentimes happens is that instead of actually growing, you just look around, you just find things as a means of giving you permission to stay where you're at. And that's not the kind of spaces that me and my partner or that any of my team are really looking for. We're looking for people that can are smarter than us, that are more emotionally capable, that have skills that we don't. We're looking to actually build unity through diversity. So, and we have, and it's not that we even have to push ourselves to grow so much as like we are constantly being pushed to grow. When you wake up and the sun hits your eyes, that's cortisol, that's stress. If you don't do anything with that stress, then you just get stressed out. Same thing happens with inspiration, although people are less in the verbiage of inspiration, but it happens every time you go on your phone. Anytime you go on your phone and you see someone like, I made $1 million at 17 years old, or this is how I found the love of my life, that's inspiration. That's the same thing as stress dumping into your system, except instead of from beneath pushing you upwards, it's above pushing you down. It's saying, become this. No, now become this. Now become that. And one of the worst things that human beings have to deal with, or rather, one of the worst conditionings that we have to deal with, is being stuck in this plane that's right in front of us. Most people don't have access to their peripheral vision. Their eyes are glued to their head. So if I tell them to look to the right, they turn their whole head. They don't have the ability to just look with their eyes. Some people's spines are literally fused and they can't even turn their head. They just look to the right. Their whole body turns to the right to be able to see what's going on over there. And so this is one of the things that we teach is how to unglue the eyes from the head so that you can see things from different angles, from different perspectives, and also so you can see things without having to look at them directly. Just being able to see things out of your peripheral vision makes you a lot more, how you say, capable and really spiritual, especially more so than people who are just focused on love and light, because the world is not all love and light. The world is darkness and suffering and pain and a lot of stuff. But again, we have to be able to tolerate that. Otherwise, that's all there is. Overcoming obstacles is a great feeling of pride. Don't stay in a safe place. Yeah, and it's like with the safe place, it's okay to like visit a safe place. Same thing with like a dangerous place. Like we're not, human beings are not trees. You look at our biology, we're built to walk around, we're built to move. We're built to be different. And then in that difference, we're able to discover unity. Also, a good book to acquire is The Science of Differentiation Beyond Helpful. Is that, I mean, that's the human design book, the human design system, The Science of Differentiation. As you can see, I'm wearing a human design shirt. This is, I wouldn't say it's half of our system. I would say it's a part of our system, which we call our system sensory design. It's the blending of human physiology, everything we know about physiology, from functional training, how you say, yoga, breath work, sensory mechanics, Reiki, energy healing. We mix that with human design and we call that sensory design. Sensory design is essentially the workouts that human design is missing. And a lot of the ways it's the bridge that's going to take us from learning a bunch of stuff about human design to actually living our design. Because there's so many beautiful words and metaphors and language in the human design system and in the human design community. What it's lacking very much so is embodied strength, embodied power, embodied presence. I guarantee most of the people that you, especially that you see online, that talk about sacral energy or emotional energy, their ability to tolerate actual pressure and actual heat is very, very low. And I don't say that as a it's really it's a projection, but it's just a numbers game. Most of the people that are successful in industries are not necessarily the people that actually embody those things. They're just the ones that know how to get the message out, or they're the ones that know how to market themselves. And so anyway, my astrology chart never letting me comfortable for real. It's not your chart. It's just life. Like you guys realize every day we wake up, and if you don't put something in your stomach will start to metabolize your own body and eat you. If you don't go poop, you get constipated and gets back to, like, there are consequences to not dealing with the stress and inspiration that you wake up with every single day. It's not your chart. Your chart, whether it's astrological chart or human design chart, is here to show you, hey, these might be some ways that are consistently useful and reliable for you to process inspiration and stress. And I genuinely believe those are the two things that we're dealing with in life. It's inspiration and stress. Co-authored by Linda Burnell and Ra Uruhu. Yeah, that's a great book. That's like the 101. Like if you're brand new to human design right now, that would be the one that I would recommend. Don't know enough about this, but I'm a projector. Man is generator, daughter is reflector, and son is man gen. Oh, Maja, we're about to have probably a generator or a manifesting generator. I'm a reflector. My partner's a projector. Our daughter now is a manifester. She's like 2.5, and then our new one is going to be like a man gen or a generator. Which is the thing is like the unity through diversity. This is something that's important because it's like, for instance, with a football team, everyone like wants the same goal. There's the unity there. But when it comes to how we all achieve that goal, everyone has a different role to play. You got a quarterback, you got a running back, you got linemen to protect the quarterback. I'm not so much into sports, so I'm going to use RPG fantasy style. It's like building an RPG fantasy team. And one of the most important things about building a team is knowing what you bring to the table. And that's what this will show you. That's what this will show you. It will show you what are your stats, what are things that you can rely on, what are your spells, what are your abilities, what are your elemental weaknesses, what areas are you not necessarily going to do well in, what areas can you expect there to be a variety in the outcome. Even so, if you put in the same effort, our brain tells us if I put in this effort and I get this back, the next time I put in that effort, I'm going to get this back. If you're like me and you have a lot of undefined centers, those are the white centers in your body graph, it's not always like that. You might put a lot of energy into emotions or into something creative and get back varying results. You might put 100 in, one day you might get 10 back. You might put 100 in the next day, and then the next day you might get 100 back. So it's unique to each individual, and that's where the diversity comes in. Being able to track yourself, to self-reflect, to be self-aware, is knowing which things can I do that can I do consistently. Do I wake up with consistent stress? Do I wake up with consistent creative energy? Do I wake up with consistent direction? Do I wake up with consistent thoughts? And where do I wake up and there's inconsistent energy or inconsistent way of dealing with emotions? For someone like me, which if there are any reflectors in the chat, what's up? I'm a reflector and everything about me is inconsistent. However, I do have a level of consistency. I do have a rhythm that I'm able to follow. But it's because I've spent over 10 years watching myself and tracking myself. And someone is asking here, what's it cost to join my team? $37 a month. $37 a month because, and people tell us you guys need to charge way more, but $37 a month gets you access to the archive, which is where we're showing people, again, on the surface level, it's the workouts to help you unlock your human design. But on the deeper level, what we're helping people do is give them access or discover a sense of inner authority. Meaning if you're a generator, you have part of your authority is in your sacral center. It's in your pelvic floor. It's in your sex organs. It's in your gut. And if your gut goes, I want to do that, I'm generating energy for that, And you, with your super smart brain and your awareness of society and your desire to keep yourself safe and small and not stand out too much, is going to say, oh, so and so is not going to like that. We're not going to do that. Or that's going to cause a lot of trouble. We're not going to do that. And that's why you're up late at night scrolling on Instagram thinking about who fucking knows. The reality is you went for your gut gave you energy. I have energy for that. And you said, nope, nope, nope. That's denying your inner authority. That is ultimately one of the reasons, one of the major reasons why a lot of people are doing inner child healing work is because your inner child, another way to look at that is you before other people put their shit on you, before society broke you and made you into a part of the society and pacified you and said that, oh, because this guy's allergic to peanuts, nobody can have peanuts because this, we need to keep this guy safe, rather than saying, hey kid, if you have different needs than other people, you have to learn how to take care of them. We said no one can have this now. We made everything gray. A shelf fell off my wall yesterday and broke. I immediately hung pictures in its place months ago. I would have gotten very upset. It's a small victory, but I know, dude, Steven, that's great. Because here's the thing, like, especially when in terms of like emotional waves, like we all process emotions, how you say, or we perceive emotions and we ride different waves. They're all going to be unique of themselves. But one of the coolest things about emotional waves is when you actually give yourself permission to feel the emotion that you're feeling. Typically the thing that you think is going to happen doesn't actually happen, and you are surprised by an actual resolve. Like when you let yourself how you say, cry enough about like stepping on a bug or your shelf breaking, you can be, you just let yourself be sad, and it's like, oh man, well, I guess I can put some stuff up there, rather than being resistant, like, why did this happen, if this really happened to me, blah blah blah. Then your mind starts attaching it to a bunch of other stuff. So fun. The mind is a problem solving mechanism, and most of us have no idea what our actual problems are. But I'll tell you right now, most people's problem is that when the pressure is on and when the heat is up, they either run away, they fight it, or they collapse under it, or they get Stockholm syndrome and they add more pressure and more heat to themselves. When the reality is your physical body cannot take it. And so the answer to most people's problems is learn to tolerate higher levels of pressure and compression and heat. That's why cold therapy is so hot right now, because people, they feel stronger because they're able to command their nervous system in a situation that is very, I need to get out of here. So you expose yourself to that. Can I gift your teachings to someone else? Totally. Totally. I would say yes and no though, because yes, you can like buy someone a body graph. However, you can't get someone to do something that they're unwilling to do. And a lot of my work is going to ask people to look at parts of themselves that they've normalized running away from or outsourcing answers to like ChatGPT or a therapist or someone like that. It's their birthday and they're so into human design, and I learn best from them. Oh, well, like I would say if you want to gift them anything, you can gift them, I would say gift yourself and your friend a membership to the archive. It's going to cost you 37, so like little less than $80 for both of you, but spend a month in there, do the exercises together. Because again, in the archive, you're not going to find like lectures or videos of raw. What you're going to find are, hey, this is the head and ajna, this is where they correlate physically in the body, and this is how to reset pressure. This is how to learn to tolerate pressure. This is how to learn how to be patient and soften and soothe yourself. How can I lead our reflector in the best way? She is 7, has a lot of feelings and love. You know, I would say one of the greatest things you can do for a reflector is just really be curious. Like, be the one that they're excited to tell things to. And so, what that's going to demand from you is the ability to suspend your own experience. And rather than suspend your own experience, think of it like reading a book. Like, it's when you're reading a fiction book, Harry Potter, you might live in Nebraska, but when you're reading Harry Potter, you're in Hogwarts. We have this reasonable ability to suspend disbelief so that we can entertain something. With your reflector child, I would say that would be one of the greatest things that you can do, is strengthen their imagination and then also strengthen their body. Like, do I would say, as well as a parent, part of suspending your disbelief is also being able to regulate your own nervous system when your kid's crying or they're being loud. Like, most of the times as adults, we see children as little adults, which they're not. They're children. They're on their way to becoming adults, but there's parts of their nervous system that either are going to be built out by healthy parents, meaning that the parents are going to be patient and kind and present with them. And in order to do that, you as a parent have to be patient and kind and gentle and forgiving and understanding with yourself first. Everything that we do in the archive will 100x your ability to do that for yourself, and then allow you to do that for your kid. On top of that, in the archive, we have a bunch of exercises that you can do with partners. So things like eye gazing, looking up, making chipmunk cheek faces at each other. There's a lot of fun things that you can learn in the archive that you can then do with your child. And one of the most important things, I think, as a reflector, like something that I wished my parents did, and they did actually to a degree, they put me in martial arts. They taught me that, hey, if you get hit in the face and you get pissed off and you get angry, or rather, martial arts taught me this: if you get hit in the face and you get pissed off and you get angry, you lose the fight. And so, learning how to regulate my own nervous system, having confidence, like not letting me believe that I'm weaker than I actually am. Martial arts is really, really helpful for that. Especially like girls really excel in things like jujitsu, because it's a level playing field for children. And I see a lot of like young girls like totally whip on young boys because they have better emotional regulation. And that's something that I think, especially as a female reflector, um, because as a reflector, a lot of people will consciously and unconsciously use reflectors to advance their own agendas and their own lives, and the reflector will just be sort of left gasping for air. So it's important to teach her not how to protect herself, but how to become safe. And part of safety is being calm, being able to respond. Because when you get angry, you get blinders on. Those are the blinders of emotion: anger, sadness, even like elation and happy. Like if you won the lottery and someone comes up and asks you, like, can I have $1 million? And you're like, hell yeah, I just won 10 million schmeckles. You can totally have 1 million schmeckles. Here you go. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, did I really promise my dad 1 million schmeckles? Teaching them how to be patient with themselves by learning how to be patient with yourself, that is everything. And everything that we're that I'm talking about right now, we literally teach this in the archive. It's a membership. It's $37. Go check it out. I like to say the only thing you have to lose is your false sense of self, because most of us have a sense of self that's purely rooted in concept. What does my mom think about me? What does my dad think about me? What's in my bank account? How many followers do I have? How many comments do I get on Facebook posts, TikTok posts, etc.? But the reality is, you are a living, breathing being that deserves to feel safe. Doesn't mean you're going to get to feel safe. Most people outsource safety to, what does my mom think? What does my dad think? How many followers do I have? What's in my bank account? As opposed to my ability to withstand, with tolerance and patience and compassion, the pressure and the heat of the world. What are your favorite Raw recordings? Dude, cracks me up. I love Raw, man. He's Granddaddy Raw. I love him because it's like he's totally an elder, in the sense that he took what generations of human beings brought to the light in terms of pattern recognition, things like the Kabbalah, the I Ching, astrology, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, and of course modern science. Human design is actually a science. It's a study of patterns. Um, and Ra took all of that work and elevated a little bit further, brought it into a light that, with the assistance of a voice, like a divine voice, he brought all of these systems into a modern translation. And what my partner Pasha and I are doing is we're taking it a step further into an even more modern translation, and we're showing how human design relates to somatic therapy and physical therapy, and how training your body and training your senses and aligning with your energy is not some like woo woo, fix your chakras, heal your cancer type stuff, but that it's actually the body can do a lot of things that people will outsource to surgery or medications. And it's not sake, it's a tea. Sake in the morning, though, that would be fun. I'm not a big drinker. Not a big drinker. Alcohol is something that to me is the amount of energy that goes into alcohol and the consumption and all of that to me is very um, rough waters. I don't really navigate those waters all that much because admittedly, um, I'm not very good at it. I remember when I used to get drunk in college and I would be like strung out for the week afterwards. I realized I was like, I can't. Everyone likes this, but I don't. This is just too much. It's too heavy of a price for me to pay. And I don't think anything is inherently bad. I think that people use things for certain reasons. However, when you realize why you're using those things, that's not enough to break the cycle. You also actually have to physically give yourself the thing that you're using the thing for. And for a lot of people, this is a relationship thing. I want love and warmth from my mom. So I drink the liquor down because it warms me from the inside. What you could do instead is learn how to create warmth in your own body, learn how to create stability in your own body. And then that becomes, I want love from a partner. And so, anyway, we can get very deep with a lot of things. So, anyway, which by the way, if anyone has any like, I'm a projector, my partner's a reflector. Like, I love helping that family there who's got a reflector daughter who's 7 years old. Some tips from a 32-year-old reflector. Hey, here's how to help your child take accountability for your own stress and your own inspiration. Become yourself. That's literally the best thing that you can do. They're going to be fine. The only way you can help them is by connecting to your own inner authority and bringing your signature online in the world. As a 4-6 reflector who was bullied in the past, I have taught myself to be invisible. Do you have any tips on how I can show myself more? Absolutely. You have to start cultivating safety. And safety can only be cultivated in places where there's actual danger. So, one of the things that I would say for you is I would say go to karaoke nights or yeah, go to karaoke nights. Go to the karaoke nights where it's like no one knows who you are, and I would go by myself because one of the things Ross said, and Kevin, to answer your question, this might be one of my favorite things. Ross said once that reflectors are oftentimes told that they need to be alone and isolate. That's not the way we do it. A powerful reflector is not one that has to isolate themselves. There's times when I'm alone, but a lot of the times I'm sampling from the world. I'm going out to events. I'm meeting people. I'm not afraid of that. So to answer your question, Ninos and Wynos, um, you have to start exposing yourself. You have to start making yourself visible, but do it in ways that are. The term is called tritation. It's like knowing when too much is too much, or knowing when enough is enough. And so when it comes to again feeling safe, what you have to start doing is introducing yourself into spaces a little bit at a time where you don't feel safe. I don't feel safe singing in front of people, especially people that I know. Great, sing in front of people you don't know. Sing in, sing in front of people that you, in your mind, know are so drunk and so hammered that they don't care. They don't care. That's just one example. Take a dance class, do something that makes you uncomfortable. And I would also say, come join the archive because those are experimental things. What we're doing in the archive, I mean, it's kind of experimental because everyone has their own experiment, but it's like if you just do a class every day for the next 28 days and there's a new class for you to do every single day for 28 days. That question, how can I show myself more? How can I become less invisible? How can I feel safe becoming less invisible? It's not going to be a question in your brain. It's going to be a feeling of security in your body. And that is what we're looking to cultivate. That's what we're looking to share with people. Was planning to go to bed, but this is way more interesting. Thank you for. Oh, Maja, you're very welcome. Stay up late with me, drinking tea. It's funny, is like I remember being in motivational seminars and people are like, where does motivation come from? Where does where what is does it come from food? Does it come from sleep? And it's like, nah, it comes from inside you, dog. Like you might be super tired, but if something is really exciting, something inside you wakes up and gives you energy. We are creating energy and we get to choose what we channel that energy into. And if you are choosing the right thing, there will be a feedback mechanism in your gut or your solar plexus or one of your organs, if not all of your organs, ideally will continue to generate energy. They will continue to have energy until they don't, and in which case you politely say, I am absolutely exhausted. I am at the end of my energy. You guys keep going, or you guys have a good night. I'm going to take care of myself. It's being able to listen to the energy of the body. Guessing we're in different time zones. It's 9:30 here. Yeah, it's 9:30 a.m. here. So welcome. I would say Masha is, and this is a beautiful thing to be able to contend with, because sometimes your brain might be like, ooh, this is interesting, but your body, your physical response to the thing is like, ugh, but like, oh, what's that? That's very interesting. This is a psychosis we get into as a means of distracting ourselves from what's going on in the body. Sometimes the mind will create responses and pass them off as like, oh, the body wants this. And a lot of people are in that. When in reality, the body wants something else. The only way to discover it is to explore, though. And the best way to explore, especially with human design, in my opinion, is the archive. Of course, me and my partner made the archive, so I'm a little biased here. However, I've spent the last 14, 15 years trying to figure out, like, what is this new age stuff about? What's real? What's bullshit? What actually works? What, like, what? Does it actually work? And so I've done so many things: medicine retreats, yoga, calisthenics, breathwork, kundalini. I've done so many things, guys. And I'll tell you, the things that are the best, we baked it into this membership. We baked it into the membership. It's Reiki, biomechanics, sensory mechanics, and human design. That's what it's, those four main things, because that's your energy with the Reiki. The biomechanics is how you move. The sensory mechanics is how you interpret reality. And then the human design is how we make sense of how different we are. How do I kick this raw cacao addiction? Is it an addiction? Must be my 24.6 design sun. Maybe. One of the things with addiction and with food especially, this is going to be great for you guys. Addiction, in my mind, is not just the reliance on an external substance. It's the reliance on an external substance to do something for you that your body can actually do if you know how to do it. What I mean by that is anything that you're putting in your mouth oftentimes is an addiction, meaning that instead of learning how to properly vacuum, to properly compress your diaphragms, you go to food. And this is not just food. It also might be information. It also might be for the men, it makes more sense, but the women as well. Like a lot of grown adults still looking for a boob to get nourishment into their body, and they'll go to the smoking, they'll go to the pills, they'll go to the junk food, they'll go to all these things to give them the hit of nourishment that they're not getting because they're not doing this anymore. Like if you guys literally just do that for 2 minutes, not only will your cheeks and your throat be sore, but any cravings that you're having are probably going to disappear. The trick is remembering to do that. And so I would say with the raw cacao, Kevin, before you eat the raw cacao, do this for like 2 minutes and then tune in and see if you want the raw cacao. Because what you might be labeling as an addiction because you're doing it a lot might actually just be your body searching for nutrition. And when you do this, and it will take some time. It's not like you're immediately going to start doing this, then you're going to be able to smell which grass you need to eat to cure your tummy aches, but eventually you will get there. That's the path to getting there. How many of you guys are doing this? Suck hard, like try and get your cheeks to touch, and you're looking to swallow. And if you'll notice when I swallow, and this is some advanced stuff right here, guys, you can see my ears. My whole body, my whole chest is responding. It's like I have a suction, a vacuum down here it's pulsating and pulling nutrition from, like, my mouth is the hose, but the real suction is coming from way down here. Again, and in the archive, we break this down. So if you guys are like, oh, dude, this is it, and you will literally get a dopamigenic, you'll get a release of hormones, you'll get some, like, dude, I feel good. And again, if you just do this as a preparation for anything that you put in your mouth, whether you're about to, like, make love, whether you're about to, smoke something or eat a pill or eat food or anything, just do this before to prime yourself to actually start tapping into, is this something my body wants to bring into itself, or is this something my mind wants to put into my body so that I can be healthy or I can be part of the club? Because this is the authority that we're battling against. It's like looking cool versus actually being cool. And you see it all over. Plenty of people that look really cool online, but when they're in person, not cool. Not cool. One of my favorite compliments that I get is people like, Marco, you're like exactly the same online as you are in person. I'm like, yeah. Like I for me, it's hard to be any other way. It's hard for me to be any other way. But I've also been doing this for like 15 years, guys. And I just started sharing this information. Number one, because I got a baby and I had to shift my whole thing. I used to like travel and do this, but I had to put down roots. But I started sharing this online because I felt like, yeah, 12 years of learning which systems, like consciously going in to try and break systems, not in a disrespectful way, but just to find out for myself, like, which martial arts work, which ones don't, which spiritual practices work, which ones don't. And I'm not here to say that, oh, Kundalini is lame and useless, and yoga, hatha yoga, long stretchy poses are useless. Oh, CrossFit is useless. I'm not saying it. I just say, for compared to what I've found works, what I'm doing is better. And when I share it with people who are ex-CrossFitters, ex-yogis, and they start to get the same results, like there's got to be something here. So anyway, yeah, I do live in a bus. For anyone that is wondering, I have a house, or rather, me and my partner rent a house, and there's a little river and a little bridge that goes over, and my partner and our 2-year-old live over there. I live over here. We sleep in our own beds every night, which is one of my relationship hacks of the century. Just sleep in your own bed. Sleep in your own bed for several reasons. One, because you get great rest. Two, because it creates polarity. It creates a desire to be with your partner because you're not with your partner at night. And three, it helps to starve you of the dependency of, like, needing your partner in order to relax and go to sleep. Like, if you need your partner around to relax and rest, that's your real problem. It's not that they're not supportive or they don't communicate, that they don't listen to you, or they forget your birthday, or they don't buy you gifts like you like. It's that you're dependent on them for something that you inherently are not doing for yourself. This is where, when people are saying, I need this from you, I need that from you, especially in the new age community, like, it's so funny to me how profound, there's like this profound energy of like, just communicate your needs and everything will be fine. I'm the opposite. I'm like, hey, take care of your needs and everything will be fine. I'll take care of my needs for you if you take care of your needs for me. How about that? We do that. Instead of, I need you to do this, I need you to do that for me, I need you to make me feel safe when we go out, I need you to be more attentive and gentle with my emotional waves. It's like, nah, dude, you need to make yourself feel safe when you go out. You need to tend to your own emotional waves, because literally everything that we don't tend to in ourselves that we're capable of tending to, we will outsource because there's nowhere else to go. But most people have just given up on being able to do it for themselves. And of course, somebody will always come along that will like coddle you, that will take care of you. I'll be daddy, I'll be mommy. Most people are in relationships with projections of their mother or father, not with the other person. And both people are in it. Does that make sense? Lol, I run to my children's bed when ours gets crowded. Sleep best alone. Yeah, heck yeah. That tickled. Excellent. I'm here to tickle, my friends. Peaceful personal bed was life changing. Like, sleep on the floor if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, protect your peace. Because here's the thing, if you don't protect your peace, especially from the people that you love, like if you let someone you love, let's say you have a partner and they really like to, in the evenings watch movies with you, but that's your time where you like to read. If you shift away from what you want to do in order to make them happy, eventually you will learn to resent them. Your body will learn to resent them. Your mind might think, but I'm doing everything I love. I love this person. Like, I'm even sacrificing my reading time so that we can watch movies together, so that we can bond together. Yo, that does not work, especially in the long run. That does not work. It's like watering somebody else's plant, and then you end up overwatering their plant, underwatering your plant, and then you're like, what's going on? Like, dude, just pay attention to what's happening. But the reality is it's very hard to pay attention sometimes. It's very challenging to be present with yourself, especially when there's so much going on externally. This is why part of the archive and the membership that I offer, we show you how to train your senses so that you can actually perceive truth, so that you can take the blinders off, or that when you have the blinders on, you can be like, oh, I'm in an emotional wave, let me crawl into a hole, or like scream or go for a run or sweat. Like, you can handle yourself. You can be aware, I have the blinders of emotions on. I need to take these off before I make the decision, or I need to wait for these to come off before I make the decision. And again, most people's problem is that they don't know how to wait with style. Everyone's waiting, but they're doing it with poor style. It's like, if you could imagine, let's say you have a partner and you're shopping, whether you're a guy or a gal, and you're shopping, and your partner is like, are you done yet? Okay. Oh. Versus your partner just being like, or reading, or even better yet, actually being engaged with you while you're shopping, because that's what's in front of them, and they've taught their nervous system to be able to tolerate, to be able to do something with grace, to be able to do something with like not a lot of effort. When you see people lifting heavy weights, versus you see someone lifting and they're like, watch people's faces, watch people's body language, and learn to watch your own. Because unless you have a mirror in front of you, you're not going to see when you're doing this. But you will always be able to feel it. Smile with your eyes. You guys have heard that? That's the fake smile. When our parents tell us to smile with our eyes, what they're actually telling us, even though they don't know it, is if you're supposed to smile, smile. And if it's painful, hide it with a smile. But when you see kids get excited, look at how kids actually smile. They're not like this. They're like this. And then mom says, or dad says, oh, smile with your eyes. Oh, that's how I'm supposed to be happy? Like, you tell me. And which one feels happier? This one where you squint your eyes and you make the thing that you're looking at small? Or this one where your neck gets wider and you want to like bring everything into you? You read glyphs well. Oh, I like that term, glyphs. But yeah, all of that from us talking about me living in a bus. Like I've always wanted to live in tiny spaces. I think it's because I like reasons to be how do you say, outside a lot, and being in a small space. It's like I have a bunch of windows. I have two doors. I'm very much so a valley person. A glyph. A glyph. I mean, a glyph is like a sign. At least that's how I understand it. In terms of like hieroglyphs, or the alphabet is like a series of glyphs, or runes are glyphs. It's like symbols essentially. But a lot of times these symbols will have deeper meanings. Like even this could be considered a glyph, and each of these symbols has meaning. Each of the channels has meaning. Excuse me. And each of our bodies and these senses um, that I'm hopefully inspiring you to connect with more, especially the senses in your throat. Again, it's all like the start of this work, like becoming a human being. If you look at child development in babies, the start of being a human being is learning how to use your five senses. That's the key to everything. People's dysfunctions in the world are a result of their eyes are glued to their head, they have the blinders on, they can't swallow, their ears are closed up, their mouth and their jaw is either or locked open, like they can't shut up, or they never say what they actually mean. Which is funny enough, the word dumb comes from the inflammation of the tongue, meaning you're not able to say what you actually mean, or you can't speak. That's what dumb actually means. So when it's funny when people say there are no dumb questions, because it's just like a whole mental Disneyland teacup ride of inverting itself. There are no dumb questions. Yeah, because they don't get asked. Because dumb means you can't speak. Dumb means you can't manifest. Manifestation is another thing that human design and sensory design brings a lot of clarity to. A lot of people are very excited about manifesting their dreams or manifesting things, but it's not what people think. You're not here to use the law of attraction to make your life better. You're here to manifest your inner authority into the world. You're here to not get downloads from Bashar or Eckhart Tolle or anyone. You're here primarily to upload something unique. And in the uploading, you will then be given an opportunity to download something. Like when you're born, recognize this, when you're born, you're brought into the world, you immediately start breathing, your mouth immediately starts to look for nourishment, look for the boob. I just lost you. So check the downloads and uploads. Downloads is like learning information. Uploads would be sharing information. A lot of people are more excited about the information that they're downloading, and they're downloading so much information that they forget to upload their own information. This is what I think about this. And it's not even that like you're supposed to have thoughts about stuff, but it's like this is what I love doing. I love being outside in the dirt, in the mud. But my mom told me to, oh, you should be studying and getting a job and blah, 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 blah. And we're so afraid of upsetting the external world and the external authorities, rightly so, because sometimes the external authorities will punish us. So a lot of us, our conditioning is due to survival. It's like, oh, I would get beat if I didn't eat all my food. Oh, my parents would put me in the corner if I didn't say please and thank you, even though I didn't like the person that I had to say please and thank you to. Oh, I'm always just so private. It's hard to share uploads. Yeah, because it's not about sharing uploads. Like when you're talking, and this would be a great opportunity for everyone to for the rest of today. Anytime you're talking, it's not so that other people can understand you. It's so that you can understand yourself. The reason it feels good to have a great listener is because they will say something back to you like, let me just make sure I'm understanding you. So you said that you feel this way when I do this, and because of that it makes you want to do this. Is that right? They're not saying that so that you know that they understand you. They're saying that so that they understand you. So that they know for themselves that they understand you. That's what makes a good listener. Can I repeat it back? not to like prove to you I was listening, but to prove to myself that I was listening and comprehending, because communication and comprehension are two different things. This is why like I love working with young guys, because I used to be this kind of guy. Young guys that are in their sort of freedom experiment, I will say it. Women have their own kind of freedom experiment, um, but especially young men, because it's more socially acceptable for men to be more sexually liberated simply based off of like the skill that's required to be sexually liberated versus a woman to be sexually liberated, or how you say gain intimate partners. The one of the weirdest things though is when guys will tell me like, I don't know why she's mad. I told her that I don't want a label on this. I don't want to, lock this down. I don't want a relationship. And I'm like, bro, you recognize that you can communicate things all you want, but if the other person doesn't comprehend it, like they don't comprehend it. It doesn't land with them. They don't fully accept it. And a lot of people are in relationships like this. You have one person who doesn't want to get tied down, and the other person who all they want is to be tied down. And the reality is that those both those people have no idea what's actually happening in their body. They're just playing out these stories. It's like watching a drama, watching a TV show, and then the people in the TV show are watching a TV show. That's so awesome. I'm actually at a loss for words on that. Yep. This is great because it's like the closer you get to the truth, the harder it gets to talk about it. That's why when you have two truly enlightened beings, all we're doing is dancing and laughing. We're not comparing thoughts and blah blah blah. I mean, sometimes we do that, but for me, when I'm with someone that's like really gets it, we might be talking a little bit about intellectual stuff, but for the most part, we're like just laughing and dancing or crying and holding each other. Like we're very present. That yeah reminded me of Luffy. Ah, yes. Pasha said he reminds me, dude. Pasha is totally got some Frankie vibes. He's got like Frankie Zorro vibes for me. I feel like I'm going to slash my your place is kind of a fun note also. Like every time I go live, like legitimately, I'm like, if I could build a bus that we could all just hang out in. That I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing here with the internet. Catch Marco outside. How about that? You already know, cha cha, cha 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 cha. Reminds me of the song Tiny Bubbles, a good bridge between the two topics. I've heard it called circling. Oh. Sorry, Kevin, I got to that comment kind of late. I don't know exactly what you were talking about. I've navigated like 16 topics. It's all this puer got me going. Now, it's funny because, especially as a reflector, one of the questions I get a lot is, how are you so consistent on social media? And I'm like, well, I pee every day, I poop every day, I wash myself every day, I eat every day. It's not hard to be consistent. What's hard, in my opinion, is actually knowing what's worth being consistent for. Like a lot of people, the reason they're not consistent with the thing is because the thing is not actually beneficial for them. Like juicing. Juicing is one of the most inconvenient things ever. And I genuinely believe that for majority of the population, juicing is not the healthiest way to be. Meditation, at least in the way a lot of people teach it or practice it, not actually beneficial. Everyone wants to like, oh, my goal is to meditate and have a morning routine for 2 hours, but I can't do that, so I just sack it off. I'm like, well, what? Can you do a morning routine that lasts 5 minutes? I'll give you one right now. RPM: rise, piss, meditate. Wake up, pee, meditate for 5 minutes. I've been doing that for the last 15 years. It's not. It's not hard to be consistent. It is hard to be consistent at something that you don't actually want to do, that your body doesn't have the energy for. Any good tips for a projector? Yes. And how should we meditate? Meditation, so important. As long as you are sitting with your back upright, this is important. Gravity has to be pushing down on you, because part of meditation is levity. Levity is the ability to do the opposite of what gravity is doing. So you get gravity pushing you down, levity pushing you up, And then you go devoid, meaning you're not listening to binaural beats. It's not a guided meditation. You're just literally going into like a sound chamber. Sometimes even having earplugs in is helpful, especially me. I got tons of roosters. Although the ability to tune into the subtleties of thoughts, feelings, but primarily like meditation is so you can get a taste of what it's like underneath it all. Like if you picture a canvas, like a painting, meditation is remembering that there's a canvas. There was once a blank white canvas underneath all of that artwork. Because the painting changes, right? Meditation is the accounting, it's the auditing of that canvas. And so, literally, sitting with your back upright, and I would recommend sitting somewhere other than your bed. And if you can have a place that you consistently sit, whether you're sitting in a chair with your knees at 90 degrees or you're sitting in lotus position, whatever, as long as you're comfortable sitting, your spine is upright, and you're closing your eyes, not listening to any music, no smells, anything like that. And all you do is just remember that you're a human being. Remember that you smell, swallow, and taste when you exhale from the mouth, and that tension is going to build up in places, and just be aware of it. There's no how you say right or wrong way to do it, because like the right or wrong would be how do I say this? There's no right or wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do it would be to not do it. And that's why most people don't do it, because they think they're doing it wrong, but there's literally no wrong way to do it. Like I'll sit and I'll meditate. Some days it's just quiet, no thoughts. Most days there's a lot of thoughts. And it's not that those days where I have no thoughts are better than the ones with all the thoughts. It's literally just showing me where I'm at. It's the same as like looking outside and being like, oh, there's some clouds in the sky, so I'm going to bring a sweater. It's probably going to get cold later. Versus not looking outside, not checking the weather, and just walking outside and then complaining later, like, oh man, there's a lot, it's really cold out here. It's just taking inventory. And you can drop into meditation any freaking point. Any thoughts that arise while meditating, watch the reactions. Right? If you're having a thought come up and you're like, oh, I'm not doing it right. It's like kind of like laugh at yourself. Like, and if you could imagine the way a child responds to things, like for instance, when I was a kid, I said a curse word and my brother heard me say it and he told my mom. And for me, it was like the end of the world. And I was like, oh my God, I said a curse word. And my mom reprimanded me. She's like, you're not supposed to say that word, blah, blah, blah. And like my whole day was just screwed. But now I look back on that and I'm like, oh my God, like innocent Marco. Again, people think you think that you're messing up. But that's how we learn. Society has taught us that, oh, it has to be perfect. If you're going to bring it to market, it's got to be perfect. No, the fuck it doesn't. You look at all of the successful brands. What is the one thing that a successful company does different than an unsuccessful company? Is they fucking keep going. One thing that a successful artist does that unsuccessful artists don't do, they keep going. That's it. Just keep going. So and then and meditate for 5 minutes a day until you have the energy to meditate for 10 minutes a day, and then build it up. There was a time in my life when I was meditating like 3 hours a day for like 2 years every day. It was crazy. But I started with 5 minutes, and then it went to 10 minutes, and then to 20, and then 30. And then next thing you know, I'm meditating twice a day for 30 minutes. And that part of yourself that's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? That's why we meditate. What are you supposed to do? Nothing. Fucking nothing. The part of you that thinks you have to do stuff to be spiritual, that's the part that we're starving with meditation. It's this idea of spirituality that's not actually spiritual at all. It's rooted in that idea of spirituality is rooted in who's got nicer crystals, who can meditate for longer, who's got the most yoga certifications, who's helped the most people, who has the most followers. It's rooted in ego. And not that that's bad, but the ego is just one of 9 centers. And your meditation, especially in the morning, RPM, rise, piss, meditate. I live and breathe by this every day. And if you forget it, do it. Do it when you forget it. It takes 5 minutes. The next time you have an opportunity to go pee, and then set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and meditate. And that's incredible for projectors. It's incredible for all types. But one thing I would also say for projectors is don't get caught up waiting for an invitation when your body has already given you an invitation. Especially for like splenic projectors, if you get this like, oh, I need to get out of here, get out. Don't wait for someone to invite you. This is one of the things about I don't like about human design is people use human design oftentimes to project their own weakness or their own conditioning onto others, and then they're looking for others to reinforce it. Like if you ever project your friend that says like I need help being invited to leave, then say, okay, do you want to leave right now? Yeah, okay, get out of here. Like get their energy out. Because what they're probably going to be like is like, oh, but I really wanted to stay and I wanted you to tell me to stay. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Or why are we friends? If we're going to use each other to reinforce these bullshit stories about each other, I don't want friends like that. I will cycle you out. I'm a projector and I'm trying meditation in the morning. Are you just saying instead of manifesting, we should just be? Yeah, don't use meditation for manifesting. Because meditation is where it's like you're checking the C's. You know, if you're manifesting is like, okay, we're going to execute, we're going to go out, we're going to do this. Meditation is is it a good time to do this? Maybe. Probably not. Okay, let's wait. Most people are so uncomfortable with waiting because they think they're going to miss their opportunity. And Hollywood has taught us that it's like, if you don't act, you're going to miss your opportunity. It's like, dude, the right things, you'll never miss the right things. If you're present with your body and you feel the pull from your stomach, the thing that'll make you miss the opportunities is when you don't feel the pull from your stomach, you don't feel the pull from your body. But because all the pressure is on, you're like, oh, but we have to do it. We got to go. Learn how to trust your inner authority. That would be the best thing to practice, because if you learn how to trust your inner authority and you can contextualize the external authority, all of the pressure, the heat, the eyes, the attention, the projections, etc. If you have those two things, that's melody and rhythm, baby. You can do whatever you want. You're free. I'm a projector that never misses a day in terms of meditation. I RPM every day and do silent mantra meditations every day for 1 hour. That's beautiful. And it's like meditation is, it's stillness. There's also movement. And it's different. Meditate, I wouldn't necessarily say moving meditation is a thing so much as accessing the flow states. Because what meditation is it's like contextualizing what's happening here, right? Inspiration and stress. And then what moving meditation is doing this. It's the actual manifestation of it. You have to move. You have to bring your aura into the aura of other people. I've been meditating on questions I'll ask myself out loud and meditate and answer myself out loud. That's awesome too. Again, it's like there's no wrong way to do this. There's no wrong way to do this. I highly recommend that everyone has a silent meditation practice before they have any kind of mindfulness or reflection. And you can blend them too, right? Like wake up, meditate for 5 minutes and just watch what's going on. Feel your heart beating, feel your breathing. What are the smells? What is going on? And then affirmations and then mindfulness and then reflection. Because again, it's like we got to honor the canvas. We got to give the mind an opportunity to remember what it feels like to not be inverted on itself. What do you think about Joe Dispenza's walking meditation? Just curious. I think Joe Dispenza's stuff is tight. But I also think a lot of people confuse their experiences and the authority within them for Joe Dispenza. People do this with everything. People do that with our work too. And it's annoying and frustrating. Like, I'm not teaching you shit. You're learning. Your body, your sensations, your experiments are going to teach you stuff. I'm not putting anything in you that you didn't have before. And that's the danger with teachers. And actually, funny enough, a new Sleep Token song just dropped, which their album drops in 2 days, which is amazing, called Damocles. And for any of my Sleep Token fans out there, and if you're not a Sleep Token fan, get into this band. They're the coolest band right now in existence, in my opinion. But I didn't even know what this word means, Damocles. I looked it up, and it is the sword that hangs over everybody with influence. everybody that has influence has a sword hanging above their head. And I'm like, oh my God, Damocles. Like, I have my own sword. And if you're not mindful of the sword, if you don't consider the fact that the sword is there, it's much more likely to fall on your head. Anyway, I've manifested my dream house doing Dr. Joe's walking meditations. Well, you used your body. But that's the thing is like Joe Dispenza's walking meditation, sensory design, all this stuff, all of those things are using technology that you already have. It's just you have to start using it. And so it's beautiful because again, there are certain things that if you do it, it'll work. You do it, it'll work. You do it, it'll work. It doesn't always work for everybody. And there are some unique nuances to each individual that sometimes it'll take a little bit of something else, a little bit of something else. And that's why it's like in the archive, it's like, dude, I don't care. Study yoga, study all this stuff. But if anything takes you away from being a human being and being able to exist without labels, truly, like you need to be a CrossFitter, you need to be a yoga, you need to be a teacher, you need to be an instructor, you need to be this, you need to be that. I would just be really mindful about that. My thoughts have been messing with my chakras, how to stop invasive thoughts from messing with my energy. So here's the thing, invasive thoughts don't mess with your energy. You thinking that invasive thoughts mess with your energy messes with your energy. I have invasive thoughts all the time. I've trained my body not to grab onto them. So you have to train your nervous system to not grab on to those thoughts. And the fact that your energy is grabbing onto those thoughts, like the more you can just become comfortable and accept that that's what's happening in meditative states where you're calm and peaceful. Because what happens is like intrusive thoughts come in, more intrusive thoughts come in, and you try and resist them. It's like putting your finger on a hose and then it just squirts you in the eye. It's like, bro, just fucking find a plant to water. If you're having intrusive thoughts, like go take a walk with your intrusive thoughts. And again, learn where they come from in your body. I feel like Joe Dispenza teaches to manifest while meditating. Have you ever tried? I've done a lot of Joe Dispenza's meditations and I love them. And basically it's like I make up my own Joe Dispenza level meditations without needing Joe Dispenza. And I've gotten that way with a lot of individuals and people. Like I can like channel like how would Obi-Wan Kenobi fight and I would fight like him. And then how would Anakin or Darth Vader fight and I would fight like him. So it's literally being able to open myself up to my own interpretation of another being and then letting go of that being and getting into the source, which is the Reiki, which is the energy that just moves through us. Yep, the guillotine of self-awareness. Damocles. Exactly. Working on a movement meditation. And yeah, Joe Dispenza's stuff is awesome. But again, Joe Dispenza's stuff only works because you have a physical body. What we're showing you, not saying it's better or comparable to what Joe Dispenza does, because what Joe Dispenza does is incredible. It's phenomenal. And what we're doing is we're like, and then we are giving like techniques and stuff like that, but it's really like we're pushing you guys to like discover your own authority. People will ask on the archive, I don't know what to do next. And then we'll ask, what do you want to do next? Which one are you avoiding? Which one are you most excited about in terms of centers? Because in the archive, we have workouts for the head nausea, we have workouts for the throat, we have workouts for the solar plexus, for the heart, and it's literally like you go in there and you just go through the first season, and it teaches you how to navigate the body graph by way of the body. And again, I've been sharing a lot of the codes. A lot of it starts with the face. It's a lot of like looking and swallowing and smelling and stuff. That's what I teach my 11-year-old when he plays soccer. He says he goes Super Saiyan. Heck yeah, yo. Because like if you think about Super Saiyan as well, if we could just like physically think about Super Saiyan, the ability to channel more energy in your body than a normal human, like that's what makes Saiyans incredible, is their ability to take rage and turn it into energy without destroying their bodies. Like they train at 100x gravity. They are like fighting each other so that they can get stronger. And this is something that has been, I think, lost in modern day society, is this desire for a stronger enemy. Everyone wants a weak enemy that they can beat easily because they want to be able to beat weak enemies consistently so that they can take videos of it and post it on social media. It's like we've lost this desire to like have strong enemies that actually force us to become something more than what we are. And the reality is you can treat everything like that, an antagonist. You can treat everything like a training partner. I have these horses here that poop everywhere. I have chickens that make tons of noise, and that has made me more patient and more loving and accommodating and kind. Is my own anger and rage transmuted. You could be wearing a bag and I wouldn't care. I find raw and unedited people the most fascinating, right? Because it's like, what else are we here to do? Like I genuinely, when I ask people that, I'm like, what are we here to do other than to take all of the grief and the sadness and suffering and be gentle with it and be compassionate and like bring God's love or universal love, however you want to identify it. How can we bring a deeper acceptance to what's going on? And all of the raw, unfiltered, unedited stuff I think is so beautiful because it will occasionally lead to someone doing something enough. Like, and this is the most celebrated in singers. Like the most, it's only like 2% of the world that are actually successful entertainers and singers, because this is one of the hardest things to do. The willingness to make enough, like I guarantee, just on a numbers basis, most people in this live, watching this live, they're like, oh my God, I would never try to sing a song and make a bad note in front of other people. And it's like, bruh, that's why only 2% of the world are entertainers. Because they're willing to make the bad notes, they're willing to make the mistakes, they're willing to treat with their shadows. They're not on a hunt to destroy them or usurp them or kill them. They're not trying to kill their ego. They're using their ego. Love this. The game of life is to forget it's a game and then play it again, back into form, hide and seek. Yeah, it's like you're hiding from yourself. And then you find yourself and you're like, oh my God, yay, don't ever disappear again. But then eventually it's like you, in order to do that, you have to chain yourself up. And you're like, you're not going anywhere. And then you're like, I hate my life. Why? It's like, because you defined yourself based off of what the external world says is valuable. You're not even aware of what you feel is valuable. Random FYP pop up, but needed to hear that. Thank you, bro. Boxa, got you, my friend. I'm loving how many random FYP pop ups. Which, if you guys want to help get some of these messages out to people, sharing the live, super helpful. Liking the live, also super helpful. Primarily sharing it, though. Even just copy and paste the link. I mean, you don't even have to actually share it, but the more we can share the live out, again, more people are going to hear this message of like encouraging, like, hey, not only am I saying like, hey, you have everything you need inside you, but I've also created a virtual space and recordings that will show you how to access it. Not from a, hey, this is a lecture, this is what Ross said, but hey, this is how I discovered how to like eliminate, how you say, headaches, how to meet intrusive thoughts to the point where they're not intrusive anymore. They're just like little flies, and all I have to do is open the window and set something outside. And it's like life can become very like a video game where if you just know where to look in your body, you can get the answers or better questions to the questions that you have. Why am I this way? Well, what happens when you do this? Oh, it hurts. Feels like I'm swallowing glass. Okay, well, keep swallowing glass until your throat gets strong enough, because there's no glass in your throat. There's no blockages in your energy field. It's just like you're not using those parts. And so they're weak. Or you're overusing those parts. So they're tired. To destroy the ego, the outcome of that is you no longer have shame and embarrassment. Not necessarily. To destroy the ego is it's like the left hand fighting the right hand. The ego is the part of you that automates things. So it's like, for instance, when you're driving, before you learn how to drive and you know how to drive, you're all hands and feet. Eventually your conscious mind passes over the mechanics to the subconscious mind, and now you can text and drive. Your ego is the thing driving. Your ego is the thing that does things automatically. And a lot of the times the ego is a servant of the mind. They're not the same. The mind is the thing that contextualizes reality. And just by the way, this is the mind in human design. That's the ego in human design. And the mind contextualizes everything based off patterns, problems, and does it look right? Is it viable in the external world? Are people going to think this is dumb? This is what people are saying about it. So the mind uses the ego and it takes authority away from your solar plexus and your sacral, and it overrides your with a whoa, dude, that's really weird. So and so would see you doing that and they would think you're the weirdest person ever. And so your ego learns automatically, oh, when I have an to something, I have to think about if so and so is going to think it's weird because I don't want to look weird to so and so. The mind loves consistency, it loves patterns, and it wants to identify the patterns and it wants to do wonderful things for you, but it can't. It's like when a kid is like wanting to make you tea, but they can't boil water, they can't harvest the lavender, they can't go to the honeycomb, like they physically are not capable of doing it, and so they pretend to serve you tea. That's what the mind is doing in most cases. Sometimes the mind can actually do shit, but you're never going to discover the true power of your mind until you discover the body that is allowing the mind to exist. It's like we got to work on the power supply for the frequency radio. Everyone's got the frequency radio, and they're like, why am I manifesting energy vampires and blah, blah, blah? Because you don't resource your own energy, because your physical body is weak. Like you look at some of these spiritual people and they're gaunt or they're overweight. And I'm not trying to fat shame or skinny shame anyone. I'm trying to like truth shame people. Like, bro, if you're not strong, if you're not robust, if you can't handle heat, if you can't handle pressure, what is this? What is that? It's a front. So a lot of people are trying to kill their ego because there's got to be a drama. There's got to be a drama. And I'm not here to kill my ego. I'm here to learn from my ego. The same way that Goku learns from Frieza or Luffy learns from any of the, Big Mom or any of the enemies that he's fought. Luffy's a great example because Luffy will look at an enemy and the enemy will say something and he'll be like, you're actually a pretty nice guy. I like you. Luffy's a great example for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is because a lot of his enemies actually become his friends because they have a respect for each other. If you don't respect your ego, you can't learn from it. One Piece is great. I'm probably going to, eventually I'll do a whole series where I talk about all of the characters in One Piece. Yes, I watch One Piece. I love anime because the Eastern culture is so different. Their way of telling stories, their way of sharing truth is very different than what I've grew up. I grew up with the hero's journey. It's very predictable arc. Think Avengers movies and Star Wars. It's a very predictable arc. But there's so many different ways to tell stories. And the East has a really beautiful way of telling stories. And then, of course, the animation. I'm a martial artist as well, so I love looking at that kind of stuff. That's another thing, is if you can't fight, you can't defend yourself. And especially as a man, I think women should learn how to fight as well, but not as a result of the men not knowing how to fight. I think in order to be a man, you gotta be able to fight. You gotta be able to fight. Any man that's like, oh, I'm pacified, I'm a pacifist, I won't fight. I'm like, dude, you are, all of your goodness and kindness is false. Naruto's bomb too. That's one of the OGs, for sure. But a man that doesn't know how to fight, it's not that you're kind, or how you say, a man that doesn't know how to fight, there's an inherent part of him that he's denying, which is the animal part, which is the violent part. And if you deny violence long enough, if you deny these natural parts of yourself long enough, well, God forbid something comes along pressing your buttons, and then you snap and you hurt someone you love. It's like you hear like a lot of abuse cases, people be like, oh, he would never hurt me. He never showed signs of violence because he was suppressing them. Because he was told when we're little boys and we're fighting and scrapping with each other, what do they do in school? Oh, don't fight, don't fight, don't fight. That's not good. Use your words. There's certain things that words cannot pound out. And I have had differences with men that I've tried talking out, that when we fought, it became very clear how we actually are supposed to be communicating with each other. This is why sport is important. Sports are important, yeah. And there's no replacement for getting punched in the face, my friend. I've been punched, knocked in the head, cut, stabbed, so many things. The negative parts want to be loved too as well. How do I release the anger? So a lot of things. Singing is the main way that I release anger now. I also have a ball and a rock that I'll just throw and I'll smash into the ground. Like I got really mad the other day. I have some pigs and they got out and they started like rummaging through some of my elephant ears because they're rooters. And they pulled up some of my elephant ears and I got really pissed off. And I was like throwing rocks and smashing my things. And yeah, so it's like when the anger comes up, though, it's like there's not a lot of things that make me angry anymore. Things that used to make me angry now just make me sad. And I have a response for sadness, which is also usually to sing or cry or lay on a soft lacrosse ball until I cry or till I get inspired to sing. But singing is such a beautiful, because it's like, again, if you don't say it, it gets stuck in your body. The best thing you can do with your emotions and your anger and your hate is take it away from the person that you think it's about and scream it into a hole or scream it into a microphone. Write a text out, but don't send it. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, but you got to share your emotions. You got to be vulnerable with people. It's like most people, in sharing their emotions, they're not actually processing their emotions. They're bypassing processing their emotions, and they're trying to put responsibility onto you. That's like me eating an apple and being like, oh, my stomach is weak. Can you digest this for me? And you're like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, heh, and I just throw up in your mouth. Seems gross, but that's what people are doing. And if you're expecting your friends to help you process your emotions before you actually sit with your own emotions on your own, you are missing the point of friendship. You are looking for people that are going to enable you to just stay the same, stay small. And oftentimes this is why you get narcissists and victims, swapping roles, playing roles. They attract each other because they need each other to survive. Do we start from the root chakra and build the way up? It's sort of like a chicken or the egg kind of thing. Like we go both ways. Like there's inspiration from the head and then there's stress from the root. And they're both making their way towards the throat. But one thing I want you guys to see here is like, this is manifestation. This is inspiration, thoughts, the brain. This is stress. This is the root. This is both pressures are going towards the throat. Look how many more centers there are in the body than there are in the head. And yet people spend a lot of time and energy and money up here and not enough of here. I do sell the shirts. I have a link in my bio that will take you to the merch link. So, but it's like some people need to start from stress. Some people need to start from inspiration. My invitation for anyone that's like, oh my God, I love this, I want to do this, come join the archive. It's literally 7 videos, and there's more videos than the 7, but watch 7 videos. They're in season 1 of sensory design. It will give you the mechanisms to unlock your body graph and start to explore your body in a way that you've never done. And it will change your face. It will get rid of some of your wrinkles. Like, check this out. Can you guys see this? These wrinkles here under my eyes? Natural Botox. You want to make your lips more plump? Suck on them. Suck on them. My solar plexus is super strong, but the rest are much weaker. Where should I start to fix that? I would still start with the head. Again, it's like a lot of the new age stuff, even a lot of the teachers, good intentions, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. A lot of teachers are not teaching from inner authority. They're regurgitating external authority. This is what I was taught by my teacher, who was taught by his teacher, who was taught by his teacher, who was the dude that had the experience. Like, I don't want to learn from the dude, of the dude who taught the dude who taught the dude. I want to be the guy that's having the experience. That's what the basis of what sensory design is. Is you're not learning, we're not teaching you stuff. We're giving you opportunities to learn. And so, for instance, not to say your solar plexus isn't strong, but your solar plexus might be so strong that you're actually shielding yourself from emotions and truths, and your other centers are actually calibrated perfectly. I don't know. Not for me to say. But I'm going to play devil's advocate until your inner authority actually is strong enough for you to confidently be able to say, oh, yeah, it's not that my solar plexus is strong, it's that my celiac ganglia, the nerve bundles in here, when there's pressure, when there's a lot to handle, when there's overstimulating information, like I can handle it. That's what a strong solar plexus is. Most people that say they have a strong solar plexus, in terms of their radiant sun energy, especially if they were taught yoga and stuff like that, they have an idea of what that looks like, and they're looking at the result. Are people feeling my chakras? As opposed to, am I actually radiating energy? Because that's what we do as babies. When we're babies, we're like, oh, is this good? Yeah, okay, I'll keep doing it. It's not like this is a good thing, I'm going to do it. Like, for instance, sharing and children, I just learned this. When it comes to sharing, children don't have under 7, children are only sharing because they get praise from their adults, from their big people. They say, big people like when I share, so I'm going to share. They're not like generous, they're conditioned. I feel blockages in all my chakras as if spirit and entities and implants are keeping my body alive. Possibly. You're probably just like, really dependent on a lot of external things. Here's something for everyone. It's called a heart hug. It's one of the most important things. If you feel like you're possessed or you feel like you're unstable or anything, do this. Take a deep breath, expand your lungs just like normal. Okay, exhale, push all the air out, get your ribs really tight, use your arms, squeeze yourself. Now, when you do this next inhale, instead of expanding outward, I want you to expand inward, compress your heart, use your lungs to hug your heart. Go, breathe in. Don't let your ribs expand inward. Pressurize your heart. Exhale without losing that pressure. Take another deep smell. Pressurize more, swallow. Exhale, don't lose the pressure. One more time, smell. Pressure, pressure, pressure for the heart. Swallow. Extracurriculars, taste the air that comes out of your mouth. Now release. I had a lot of words I wanted to share there. When it comes to possession, the only reason you feel like you're being possessed is because you don't possess your own body. And I don't mean that in terms of like you own your own body. I mean, like, how much of your consciousness can you shove into your tissues before your tissues physically start to break? Because your mind will tell you that they're starting to break much sooner, much, much sooner than they're actually starting to break. They talk about mind over matter. And that's just, the mind is just above the matter. But if the matter isn't strong, the mind doesn't. The mind doesn't matter. There's plenty of people with the ability to think things, but they can't enjoy it. This is why you have billionaires that are depressed, because they can have amazing ideas, but they can't enjoy the things that they create. How have I been doing the archives for literally years and never did the heart hug? God, so good. You've never done the heart hug? We've done the heart hug in the archive. Have you missed some, Alicia? There's a lot of moves too. Like, I'll do heart hugs, and then I'll do thoracic rotations. That's a journey. That was fantastic. Can you go deeper on that thought? Which thought? Let me know. I'm going to go pee. BRB. Like the live, share the live, Can. Thanks. Fa la 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 la. Fa la 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 la. Oh, when you're infusing thought into tissue to do something, maybe rewire into positivity or break out. Oh, thank you for the little pearl right there. So glitter slicks, is it glitter slit, glitter slicks. Um, yeah, you have to learn how to invade your own tissues with your consciousness. Otherwise, other things will invade your tissues with their consciousness. You will become possessed by needing to be like this person or that person, or needing to be valuable to this person or that person. Alicia, I've missed too. Well, happy you got that heart hug because that's a vital piece. Can someone here share the Rex where to learn about chakras, please? So again, it's like for me, we work with energy centers that are based off chakras, and the way we work with them is through exercises like that, like learning how to pressurize that. Like you could take that same concept and I could with very minimal direction, that same concept that we just did with the heart, do that to the pelvic floor. Pressurize the pelvic floor. Squeeze it, inflate it. Yes, thank you. Do you infuse through meditation? No, it's through specifically pressurization and the generating of heat. Like if you want to make something malleable, you have to put it under pressure and you have to heat it up. And usually when you put enough pressure on something, it starts to heat up, and that's how it works in the body. Um, so yes. But then you can be calm and self-soothe, and that's kind of meditative. And that's when you can take awareness of, like, when you do this with your heart and then you relax, it's like there's more spaciousness around your heart. You don't feel like you're being boxed in anymore. Um, and we said what the archive is for sensory design. Yeah, so all of the stuff that I'm teaching, the sequence of events that takes you from, just doing compression in the cheeks to being able to do this in your pelvic floor. We have classes, we have pre-recorded classes, we do live classes, we have a whole community. There's like 250 wild, wonderful people that are in the archive right now. And it's only $37 a month, which everyone tells us we need to charge more. And I'm like, nope, definitely not going to charge more, because I like the fact that it's super accessible. They're like, this is way more valuable though. People don't understand the value. I'm like, I don't care. I want everyone to be able to access it. So $37 a month. You get access to 60 plus hours of videos on training your senses. Sensory design is what we call it. And then how that relates to your throwing, to your walking, to your sitting, to your standing. And is that Reiki Kristen? I thought that was my mom. My mom is Reiki Lorna. I'm Reikimarco. Off. What's up? And you can sign up via the link in my bio. I think it's the first button there. You could also go to join.thearchive.life. Demo the heart hug again. Okay, fine. Let's do it with less words this time. Inhale. Expand the ribs. Exhale. Make the ribs and the rib cage small. Keep the rib cage small. Inhale. Let the lungs expand inward and hug the heart. Swallow. Cool stream of air like you're blowing a hot cup of tea. Keep the pressure on your heart. Smell. More pressure on the heart. Swallow. Then lift the heart up. Cool stream of air. Don't lose the pressure. One more time. Smell. Lungs expand. Start to smash the heart. Swallow. Heart does a little bounce. Cool stream of air. Now slowly as you can, release the pressure off the heart and feel the sensation of the heart experiencing relief. Is one sign up good enough for both my husband, and do I need to? I mean, you could do it as a joint. Like if you're living in the same house and doing all that, I have no problem with it. It's just a matter of, like, if you want to post, before and after. Yeah, you could totally do one account. It'll have like one name, so you could put both your names if you want, or you could just put your name. But we ask that people share their body graphs and also before and after pictures, which you don't have to share it, but if you take them, because if you go on the page, and I need to put some more pictures of some of the stuff, some of the results that we've gotten from people that are doing sensory design in the archives. But like the 90-day transformation, even the 28-day transformation, like the signs of maturity on people's faces are so wild. And the changes in their psyche and their body, it's so wild. What is this? Just logged on, just Reiki? Definitely not just Reiki. So I'm talking about sensory design, which is basically the workouts that are missing from human design. And not necessarily that they're missing, but just that like everyone focuses on the mental and learning about human design as opposed to like living in what it feels like. Like satisfaction, oftentimes people talk about the generator strategy or the manifesting generator strategies, like follow your gut, follow what lights you up. But then there's this question of like, follow the uh-huhs and uh-uhs, but how do I know if it's my sacral or my mind? And I'm saying there's a flavor, there's a smell, there's a sound, there's a frequency, there's a sensation that will tell you the difference between your mind and your gut. And I can't teach it to you. You have to explore it for yourself. So we created a whole membership, an online membership, so people can access this 24 hours a day. We also do live calls, and there's a discussion platform. And these techniques I learned from my partner. So you'll see in the archive when you sign up, Pasha is the instructor, in the sense that like he's the one that taught me a lot of these maneuvers. He also is the one that kind of like really lit a fire in terms of my love of human design. And then I'm a reflector. He's the 1-3 alpha channel manifesting generator on the cross of the sleeping phoenix. I'm the 3-5 reflector. Like we're literally just living our designs out in a community and giving people an opportunity to like see what they're made of. He was taught and helped by his aunt, right? It was his mom actually, and his mom was a reflector like me. And my dad and my brother are both manifesting generators like him. So it's as much a, again, the reason we're doing the archive is because we wanted to find a way to share our explorations with people, because so many people were asking, and we would do a lot of one-on-ones with people. And it's very simple. You know, you start with the head and ajna, you work your way down into the throat, you get into some of this stuff in here, and eventually you get down to the pelvic floor, and then we go back up to the head and ajna. So each of the seasons is a journey from descending from the head in. So how do we inhabit the body? In sensory design, we start with the face, we start with the senses, we start with ungluing the eyes and the ears. Can you guys see that? From the skull, we start with learning how to bring things into the body through the throat. What's an easy method you usually do to get yourself back in the present moment? Throat vacuums. Also, smelling, swallowing, and then tasting the air, which is basically instead of dumping your air, you're. And you see this a lot in martial arts, which is another reason why I love anime, because all the martial arts and all the breathing and all the ki and the. And we love all of that stuff because these people are doing things, they're making the sounds, they're doing the stuff that we're too afraid to do in our own lives, and that's why we love watching it. Because if our brain can observe it, our brain can pass it off as, oh, we're doing that too. So yeah, Manny, that's a good one. Smell, swallow, cool stream of air, and then pay attention to the sensations. And you can also smell and swallow in different orientations, and you'll probably feel a lot of stuff. Tips for a generator: discover abdominal pressure. So for instance, grab your belly, squeeze it, inhale. Naturally, your belly will explode, go out. When you exhale, normally your belly gets soft. Don't let it get soft. Smell, swallow, and you exhale. Keep your fingers pushed out. That's abdominal pressure. It goes sideways like a barrel. You know, it goes, even goes out to the back. Less so than the sides and the front, but It's like a barrel with water pressurizing outwards. Because again, for all human beings, whether regardless of what type you are, and if you want to find out what type you are, Coco, go to my website, reikimarco.com, or just click the link in my bio, plug the information in, and it'll generate you a body graph. I also have reports there that will like literally give you all the information that you could want about your human design in just like, a report. It'll even teach you how to read the body graph if you get the $35 one. Um, and those are super duper helpful. Again, though, the mental stuff is not necessary to have the transformation. That's why we created the archive. So you could literally like, if you wanted to spend the least amount of money possible and learn this, like you could, if you really dedicate yourself, you could like pick up everything you need to pick up in like 2 to 3 months. $37 on the archive for 3 months. You can spend less than $300. You might as well just spend $300 and get it for the year, because you can do 37 a month or 333 for the whole year. No, I don't. We don't do no money. We don't do no money. I mean, you can get your body graph for free, and you can ask around. But what I would do is I would save up $37 to join the archive for a month. Sell shoes, do whatever you need to do. Save up some money, because here's the thing: is if we make it free, and I want it to be accessible, but I don't want it to be free, because number one, this is like, two men, myself included, our entire life's work that we are underselling because we want people to have access to it. But there has to be some kind of exchange. And this is one of the things that you want to train your mind out of, is that if you can't afford it, that it's too expensive. That's something that's a virus that will keep you so very small. Oh, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. No, you just can't afford it. $37 is an insanely good price, right? Especially, it's like if you take your Netflix and your Disney Plus, it's like, just stop spending money on Starbucks or going out. Don't go out twice this month, and then spend your money on this, and you'll have hours and a community to like connect with. So I came back and bought it when I was ready. Yeah, and it's also, if it's not time for you, it's not time for you. Because again, if the not having money, if we just like let if we just let everyone in for free, we wouldn't actually be helping you. I don't think, because $37 is basically next to nothing. And if you can't make money, if you can't make $37, or you can't spend $37 on something that's important to you, again, the real issue has to be addressed before coming in that way. So anyway, a lot to learn, but it's worth so far. Reading my design, and I'm like, oh yeah. And that's the thing about human design, is like the mental of human design is so expansive. It's so there's so much to it in the mental of human design, and there's even more to your physical body. But whereas with the mental, we're relying on, expensive courses, workshops, and stuff like that, information from the external world to understand ourselves. When it comes to sensory design and the archive, we are pointing you guys back towards yourself. We're pointing you guys towards, how does that feel? What happens when you do that? Which someone was saying, it was hard to throat vacuum and swallow turning to the left. Yes, soul music heals. And so it's like, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm not in your body. Does it have to mean something? What it probably means is that you avoid it. There's a level of strength and a level of dynamic to you that you're avoiding because it's uncomfortable. What's up from Poland? Reflectors from Poland. Yeah, yeah. Can you practice the archives every day? Also, for how long can you? Totally. You can practice the archives every day. And what we invite people to do is, when you first get started, you just watch one video a day for like the next 28 days. There's season 1, 2, and 3, and they go up: beginner, intermediate, more advanced. Watch season 1, and if you want to do it as fast as you can, it's like, what, on the first day in the archive, watch episode 1. On the second day, watch episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7. Once you get to 7, then you decide, I either want to go on to the next phase, or I want to redo season one. Some people want to redo season one just so they can get, or they don't feel like they're ready for season two. Again, the goal of this is to get you to trust your own body. The goal of this is to get you to a tangible sense of I'm ready to move on, or I need to review that. Even if someone's watching you, even if someone is pressuring you, the ability to maintain your connection to your internal authority is that's what we're showing you guys how to do. And it will be frustrating for some people because you're used to getting answers. Oh, what should I do? Oh, we'll do this and then this and then this and then this. Cool. If you want someone to hold your hand through your whole life, you could literally pay pretty much like 90% of the other coaches out there. If you want to learn how to hold your own hand throughout your entire life, that's what you pay us for. I wonder if open hearts are more likely to say it's too expensive rather than I'll make it work. Possibly. That's the thing about human design, it's like someone with an open heart, um, there's a polarity there. It's too expensive or I'll make it work. Someone with a defined heart, there also is a polarity there. It's about the decisions that they make. It's about the people that are influencing those decisions. And so regardless of what conditioning gets stuck in there, what we're really looking to do is create enough pressure and heat on the heart specifically and all of the organs in their own right so that anything that is not inherently yours burns up. It's like the whole process of alchemy and hermetic alchemy is really influential in this system, or in our exploration of the system in the body. Alchemy is a metaphor for the physical body. And there's a lot of talk on pressure and heat. It's about getting lead or base materials to transform into gold. What do you need? Pressure, heat, and the right sequence. Sensory design gives you the right sequence, but you have to generate the pressure and the heat. Because again, people spend so much time, they want to figure exactly, this is the perfect explanation of my conditioning and this is exactly how I am. Like they're so self-aware that it's a prison. They're so self-aware that it becomes a prison. It's a very spiritual ego that's dressed up as freedom, but it's not free. Because the minute I subject them to pressure or heat or a line of questioning that starts to poke at the truth, they can't handle it. They say, oh, he was being mean to me. He was being cold-hearted. I had all this momentum and then he stopped it. It's like, dude, if you're going to pay me, I'm going to actually apply my method to you. My method does not revolve around you feeling seen or understood or held. Because most coaches will just do that. They'll say, oh, I see you. People want to be told who they are and why they are the way they are, and by someone who understands the system really well. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to pin you down as your friend and let you know exactly what I see. That's how I can truly bring the value. I went from visions with anxiety to meds and peace. Right? So what if you could go and have visions and peace? Because the reality is that in order to have your peace, you had to sacrifice your visions, right? And then you probably learned, and you can learn. This is what I'm saying is like all of our superpowers that are labeled as disabilities, it's like the reason they're disabilities is because our bodies can't handle it. Our bodies break under the pressure and heat of psychic visions, of emotional empathy, of healing powers. Your body breaks. So you don't need to meditate anymore. You need to make your body stronger. And that's what the archive does. It shows you what parts of yourself that you need to make stronger. Not because we're telling you do these exercises, but because you'll do the exercises and you'll be like, oh, what is that? Like, why is that there? And we'll say, we don't know. You tell us. Whereas again, a lot of other teachers will be like, oh, it means this and this and this and this and this. Because we could do that. And sometimes we do. But most of the times, we don't. I had sped healing. It was magical, but I'm working on getting the physical. I was trapped in the mental. So many people right now in this spiritual awakening have no idea, but they're trapped in the mental. And they're so trapped in the mental. Lee, sorry, I totally ignore this chat. If the two head centers are white with only three gates active between both of them, will I ever be able to have my own thoughts, or do I have to rely on intuition for most things? I'll ask you another question. What is the value of having your own thoughts? I had to ask myself this question because I have fully undefined centers. And Ra said that if you have undefined head and ajna, you've never had an original thought. And I go, what the fuck? Well, then what is the value of an original thought? And I really thought about it. And having original thoughts, in my opinion, the value of having an original thought versus being able to acknowledge a valuable thought, I was like, God, I'm focusing on the wrong fucking thing. Anyway, Lee, I hope you're still around. The value of original thoughts, especially for somebody with undefined head najna, is like, it's like a penny on the ground covered in shit. You might pick it up because it's like, oh, it's a scent, but dog, it's a fucking scent. You know what I mean? Like, what's much better is to be able to rely deeply on the body to filter out which thoughts are worth having in your head. Yes, because it's also so personal that used to frustrate me, but now I like that you don't tell us to. Abby, oh my God, I love it. By the way, Abby, because I've been working with your before and afters quite a bit and adding them to our thing. And just like every time I look at it, I see something new. Like I see a new depth in you or a new calm inside you. And it's like, I didn't really know you before, but I'm just like so proud to like see who you're becoming. And it's like, we are just getting started. We're like, you know what I mean? We're not even like half a year in. 18 months is going to be insane. Insane. And I love the words that you wrote, by the way, especially the part about being a parent and mom. And for those of you that don't know, Abby here has been in the archives for kind of since the opening of it back in December, and has had some of the most incredible facial transformation, weight loss transformation. But the deeper is how incredible the awareness around her mothering and her children has been, like the ability to soften for your children, because that's the thing, right? Like in parenting, we're taught like, oh, it's more important to be a good parent than have healthy children. And because of that, we become behavior analysts, but we don't actually acknowledge the behavior of the behavior analyst, which is very neurotic. And so we're attempting to take our children and turn them into adults, but they're still children. Rather than softening ourselves so we can be present for the child that's in front of us, we ask our child to harden and mature and do things that are beyond their capabilities, which is part of life. I get that. But more so than not, children don't need a good parent, they need a present parent. And if a present parent is, I'm too pissed off to even talk to you right now, it's, I know how to get all my rage out. I know how to pressurize and cook myself before I bring it to my children. I know how to refine myself. The armor and weapons that I usually use against my energies, I know how to take that off before I play with my kid. Abby, that's been, and I've been having a lot of unfolding just in your words with that. So, like, I can handle things now. Exactly. And this is so wonderful, especially for like non-sacral moms, projector moms especially, because Ra even said, "Oh, projector moms are not supposed to have children, or projectors are not supposed to be parents." Why? Because the society is not conducive for non-sacral beings to have children. It's like, no, it's because the form isn't robust enough to not only attract the right people, but also to handle all of the stuff that happens with kids. And it's like, I look at my own life as an example and not a flex, but it's like my partner's mom lives right up the hill. My daughter is with her mom's mom. We have a little tribe. It's just me, my partner, our daughter, my partner's mom, and her partner, Papa Frank. That's enough of a tribe for this to work. But we trade it off, and we push ourselves as far as we can go, and then a little bit farther, and then we hand it off to the teammate so we can rest, so we can wake up and push it again. A really good question to ask yourself is, do you sleep so that you can wake up in the morning and deliver and manifest and make it happen and live? Or do you live so that you can get to the end of the day and sleep and get away from your life? The shift that happens in the archive to the point where it's like you start to not necessarily become masochistic where you like enjoy trials and things that are hard, but it's like you get to a point when you're training the nervous system where you're like, wow, my body is a lot stronger than I thought it was. Like I still get injured, I still have things happen, I still get upset, I still get angry, but I can handle it, like Abby was saying. And then you're like, let's go. Like I got like my safe place is my fucking body. And it really doesn't take that long, if you ask me. What about wartime? During wartime, I feel like they have to grow up, sadly. Well, if the men aren't grown, or the people that go to war are grown, the children don't have to suffer that. I wouldn't say it's unfortunate that some children have to suffer that because, again, that would be me, how you say, like saying, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, which I still catch myself saying it. But it's like, for instance, when I go through something that's challenging and someone says, I'm sorry that happens to you, usually what I say back is like, it's hard, but it's given me so much perspective. Like, this is what happened. Instead of, I'm sorry that happened to you, it's kind of like, wow, that must have been hard. Do you want to talk about it? If I care, genuinely. Because some people, and this is something that I might get some heat for this. It's okay to not care about people's experiences. If you have to lie to yourself and say I should care about this person's experience, but you don't, like where do you draw the line there? Because for me, and this is what separates I think realists from the lotus eating cloud sitting gurus, is I'm like, there's people that I don't care about because I don't have capacity to care about them. I want them to be cared for. I think they deserve to be cared for, but I don't have the energy to give to them because I'm giving energy to my family and my people. Some people will come and test me and be like, "Hey, give me energy, give me free sessions, give me all this stuff." And it's not like, "Oh, provide value for me and then I'll provide value for you." It's not really like that. It's just like, do I actually give a fuck? Do I care? Is this somebody who is coming at me in a time of need? Because I usually care about those people. Or is this someone who's looking for me to enable their dysfunctions? Most people are like that. Asking for the freebies and the handouts. I don't want to work. I'm doing. And it's hard to tell sometimes in text because I'll get emails sometimes of people like explaining their stuff to me. And some of them I can feel them. And it's very respectful and it's very humbling. Other people, it's like, hey, just help me out, throw me a bone. I'm like, what about the 19 bones that I've been feeling that you've just been neglecting? So anyway, and I use that as like the truth thing to weed out all the people that are not meant for this work. Do you have any idea about nausea? I feel it nonstop for more than a week. I started doing rotations from the archive more actively. Maybe I can move something or ignited a process in me. Okay, great question. So when you start moving things that have been stagnant in your body for a long time, Martina, which this is actually a positive thing. And this is one of the things that we will kind of give positive feedback on because it can be very discouraging. Like it's like, oh dude, I'm so nauseous now. The reality is that there's parts of you that have always been nauseous, but you've been suppressing or ignoring them. And now you're starting to feel them. And in feeling them, you don't have to like think, oh, lungs expand and breathe. You just have to be present for it. Learn to tolerate the nausea because it's probably not actually nausea, it's dross. It's your mind's authority over your body starting to evaporate. And eventually the nausea will turn into, I actually really feel super settled in my stomach now. And so one thing that I would say is that in terms of like rotations, one thing that you might want to be focusing on is more midline activation. So like getting your hands, pushing them together here, getting your shoulders and everything like nice and solid, developing that midline, doing a lot of spinal saturations. And it's also totally fine. And sometimes this is the path, is to stop doing the exercises for a couple days and let your body kind of adjust, because that's what's happening with your body. The nausea, some people get headaches, some people get like sick, some people get super inflamed like they got allergies. Some people have diarrhea, some people get constipated, but these are the signs of healing. These are the signs of healing. Is your body is now like expelling toxins, or it's expelling stories or ideas, or again, like I always explain it, it's like it's the mind, it's the dross of the mind being extracted from the body. It's the mind invading territory that it doesn't have any sovereignty over, being forced out. It's the dictator being forced out. And it's also the parasite of your mind saying, "Oh, don't do this. This is bad. See, look at this, look at that." So just be calm, be gentle with yourself, soothe the nausea. When does the and also just curious, are there any times, Martino, where you'll find like the nausea is extra intense? Because like I said, that's normal. It happens to a lot of people. Um, you might need to take a break and just let your body calibrate and integrate. Something that can be really helpful for integrating is a lot of like the self-soothing techniques. So like stroking the throat, doing this. This is the triple warmer activator, just coming up here, smelling, swallowing the whole time. Beating on your chest is a really good one, right? Just moving. Again, we're just continuing to move energy. But yeah, don't be discouraged. I know it's hard, but I promise this is like a lot of people have moved through that. Um, and specifically nausea, because there's so much built up in the stomach. And one of the things that I've been coming into contact with actually recently is how, and someone said earlier in the chat that their solar plexus is really strong, and how often we confuse strength for stagnation. Like if we build a wall, the wall is going to protect us, but it also limits our view. And so oftentimes, especially stuff in the stomach, there's a lot of armor around here. And a lot of times it shows up as like a six pack, you know, like six pack versus core strength. See? Six, it's kind of hard now. Six pack versus core strength. I mean, I'm literally flexing on you guys, but it's just to show you the difference and how much there is important there's an importance in having the dysfunction, or being able to recognize the value of the dysfunction, the value of the protection, the value of the nausea and the wanting to vomit. Like you want to get stuff out of your system. I'm not saying like go bulimic, but it's like if your body needs to throw something up, like let it throw something up. You might even need to dry heave, but it's like you're like wringing the towel out. It's like if you got a sponge, this is a good example. If you got a sponge that has just been sitting in gross water and you're like, ooh, I don't want to touch that sponge. But it's like, dude, unless you grab that disgusting sponge and you wring out all of the disgusting water, it's just going to get more and more disgusting. So, Martina, I hope that helps. Tapping is clapping. Yeah. Tapping in the body, again, tapping on the body is, I don't want to say a lot of it is placebo, because I don't want people to think that like placebo is like not a real thing. Placebo is 100% real. The mind can make anything real. It's wild. But one of the things that tapping really does is it just connects you to your senses, just connects you to your body, and you're able to rewire the thoughts that happen with your body. I'm less interested in rewiring your thoughts because I want you to, before you rewire things, I want you to be like, oh, this is how things are. Because if I just go start rewiring you, or giving you the codes to rewire yourself, you're going to rewire yourself. But it's not going to be like how you're actually supposed to be wired. It's going to be, oh, the thing that he told me to do. So one of the things that we do in the archive is, instead of giving you, hey, let's rewire your brain, I'm like, how are you wired? Again, what happens when you do these exercises? You get nauseous, you get sick, you get, okay, great. That, again, that has always been there. Now you're aware of it, and your body will work to cycle that out. So I do some breaks, but it is nonstop. It becomes stronger if I lift my arms up, and rises up in pain stomach during hip rotations. But in general, I love the archive and I find it super useful. Amazing. Yeah, it's, again, these symptoms, they're not permanent. Especially it's like in a week. Like if you have symptoms that last for longer than like 3 weeks, then I would say we actually have something to talk about. But right now, again, it's just your body's response to being wrung out, to being pushed. And part of that might be like, again, yeah, oh, you need to take more breaks, longer breaks, um, or you might need to go deeper in. Again, it's not necessarily for me to figure out for you, um, so much as it is your golden opportunity to like really ask yourself, okay, if I'm getting deeper connected to my body and these are the things that are coming up, these are the things that I've avoided for years and years and years and years. And there are some things that it's like I've been studying human design for 10 years now, and there's no end to the quote unquote negative feedback that I get from my body. But when I like kink my neck, which is usually the thing that happens, or I stub my toe, which is another thing that happens, I'm not surprised anymore. I'm not like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? It's like, oh, here's feedback. Great. I meant for people to tap the oh, rituals for peace. Thank you so much. Tapping is clapping. Yeah, if you guys tap the screen, that helps a lot. 7,000, 7.9 thousand. I know you guys are probably not like, we're not like maxing the likes like a lot of the other lives, but if you could share the live, that would mean the world to me. Also, another thing is when you're tapping, instead of tapping with your index finger, experiment tapping with your pinky or your ring finger, because basically, I know you're doing this too much. I know you're doing this. I know you're doing this too much. This is called the radial line. This is equivalent to like doing what's right in front of me. This is the ulnar line. This is equivalent to doing what's beside and what's behind me. And so if you tap with your ring finger or your pinky finger, you can also help to offset all of the focused right in front of me stuff that I'm doing by tapping with these other fingers. It's like even in the tapping, I'm like, I don't want you guys to be like deepening the dysfunction over here. Although this would be a good live to deepen the dysfunction on, but you don't have to. Fun stuff. Yeah, another really good way to train that is if you lace your fingers together and then you squeeze these fingers, but you keep these really gentle, and it's harder than you would think. So you relax these and you squeeze these, but you keep everything touching. And then you try and the squeeze here, the bite here, you try and get it to come from here and here. It's great. I am an ancient MF and I am so stubborn towards myself. Now I've got modic lower back inflammation. Ah, Jess. Damocles. The the guillotine of self-awareness. I forget who said that in the chat, but that was a great way to put that. I love that. Something that can help you with breaking apart your own stubbornness is everything that we do in the archive. Everything we do in the archive will help with everything. And it's like, I'm like, why? Because it's just getting your body to do what it does, which is regulate itself. Like, it's not like oh, there's something wrong with me. I need to do this. It's just like, hey, your body has gone through generations of mutations to get it to the point where it is today. We've only had a couple generations of real serious dysfunction in our lifetimes. And so the architecture of the body has yet to adapt to the dysfunctional status quo. And so we still have ability to access the bodies that our ancestors use, even though we're stuck on smartphones and stuff like that. We just have to like train it. The archive is where human design meets like the fitness world, basically. Like we have exercises to train your senses so that your head and ajna don't just pick up on everybody else's shit. We have exercises to train your throat so that you can manifest better. Basically, we're showing you how to use the body graph like a map, how it relates to the body, and then what you can do to activate underactivated and undervalued parts of your body that are going to promote healing, promote anti-aging, promote better sleep, um, strengthen your immune system, make you more emotionally intelligent and capable, renew your creativity, reduce pain, reduce inflammation, pretty much everything. Again, like the body heals itself. Doctors have pulled one of the biggest scams over on everybody. They've convinced everyone that they are the ones that are healing, the medications are the things that are healing, the surgery is the thing that are healing, and they slowly siphoned authority and healing as a whole out of a sovereign human being. And they reinforce it by feeding them poison, both through the eyes with social media. There's a lot of poison on social media, and through food and agriculture and stuff. But this is our governing forces, and truly, I don't think they actually mean to be doing that. I don't think they're like evil, mean people. It's just like, how do you govern hundreds of millions of people? How do you do it? You have to create a system. Systems are efficient. Okay, great. Nature has so many systems, but guess what? They're appropriate. They're isolated by region. That's why it's in the U.S. we have so much mutation and so much wild shit going on, because there's so many different peoples, so many different geographical locations, so many different cultures, all under one nation. It's like, it's not to say that it's bad, but it's just like, how are you supposed to have a unified way of being if there's so many different people? Isn't it better to just like let these people be unified, let those people be unified? As long as they can get along with each other and appreciate each other's differences, we're good. Why does everyone have to be the fucking same? So in the archive is a great, I got it. The archive is a place where you can train yourself to feel safe being yourself physically. Like physical exercises that will help you train your own sense of safety, true safety, not I'm around safe people so I feel safe. Like anywhere you go, you will feel safe. You will feel safe leaving the party early. You will stop giving a fuck about so and so whose opinion doesn't matter. You will feel safe in leaving your job or leaving your partner. And you will also have clarity around, am I leaving my job or leaving my partner because I'm running away from myself? Or am I leaving them because deep down that's what I want? Most people that leave their marriages or leave their jobs are not actually, like, those jobs are fine. Their partner is fine. What they're really doing is they're running away from themselves. And they're people that do that, and memberships and coaches that encourage that, it's because that's where the money is. It's because if you're constantly running from yourself, you're constantly consuming, you're constantly trying to make money so you can buy cars or buy makeup or have a nice house so that you can attract, it's fully not self, just predator and prey. But not even predator prey. It's the kind of predator prey relationship like human beings have with Costco. You go to Costco, you get your food, you don't have to do any of that dirty stuff. I know, but I cannot calibrate to the time now. I live in the now, but either I am on a different timeline. What do you mean by that? Like your ability to be present. Candace, what's up? How we doing, Coco? Prana, what's happening? You're catching me at the very end of this. My partner is texting me like, is it time yet? That's funny. Yeah, so learning how to calibrate to yourself is the main thing that the archive teaches. Because once you can calibrate to yourself, then you can calibrate a clear message of what's going on in the world. And it's like we use a lot of deprivation stuff. So it's like if you close your eyes and you're forced to rely on your hearing will get better. But most people never even consider closing their eyes because they're heavily dependent on it. And so there'll be times when I'm walking around, and if you're walking around, notice, do you look at the ground to see where you're walking? Do you look straight ahead to see where you're going? Or do you look up because you can see with your feet and your body knows where to go? Or do you close your eyes so that you can train some of your... Again, none of this is like, oh, this is better than this or that. It's just like exploration. It's like, imagine spending your entire life only using these fingers, and these, you never use those fingers. Please don't say up is bad. No, up is not bad. Up, I would say up is probably, in terms of like, if we're going to go what's better? Up is better because most people are looking down at their feet because they don't trust their feet or the floor. A lot of people are looking ahead because they just want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. Looking up, it's like looking for birds. That's what our ancestors used to do. Our ancestors used to look up because they were looking for the birds. Because if the birds are flying that way, that means that the volcano over there connected with the rumbling in the ground, because my feet are actually on the floor, the volcano's exploding, all the animals are running in that direction. Okay, great. There's birds circling up ahead, so that means there's something there. That means that there's a tiger or something that we're hunting in here. We got to be mindful. This is peripheral. It's not focused. And we're chronically stuck in focus. Balance one foot, eyes closed, moving head side to side. Yeah, Prana's a goat over here. I often give my patients homework of balance with eyes closed. Yeah, because the eyes and the ears are connected. And our balance is primarily done in the ears. There's this little snail with like a bunch of liquid in it. And that's why when you get vertigo, it's super disorienting because that snail is like, what the fuck is going on? The little snail's got the liquid in it. And if you can do this on one foot, it like, and then if you can do it closed eyed, it's like there's just a level of competency that's reflected in the physical body that can also be reflected in the nervous system. They're not mutually exclusive. You could have someone with phenomenal balance that emotionally you can touch them and they'll fall off balance. But typically, if you're not running away from yourself or numbing yourself with a bunch of stuff, typically when you train the physical body with the right intention, the behaviors will automatically improve and adjust. By behaviors, I mean the experience of wanting to run away when things are hard or collapsing under authority, other people's authority. And the magic of human design, again, is to surrender to the form. This is a map that was given to the world through the channel of Ra, who's a man, who then created a whole system around human design and how to use it. But he said it. He says it's a mental framework. It's a map. The real goal is for you to surrender to the body that you're in. And so our thing, sensory design, the archive, is designed around, okay, well, what things can we do that are actually going to help us surrender to the body? Because there's a lot of things you can do that you can learn human design that don't actually translate into real transformation. It just translates into getting more information in your head. The true transformation is when whatever is in your head, the information actually gets swallowed into your stomach, digested, processed, and boom. Exactly, they're an extension of my nervous system. And your brain and your eyes and your brain are made of the same type of tissue. It's like the eyes are very important. But if you just do what's right in front of you, again, when a shiny thing comes along, you can't just look at it out of your peripherals or see it out of your peripherals. Or it's like they say, there's actually a lot. This is cooked into mythology too. So there is a story. I forget what the names of the characters are, but basically, Bro's lover gets locked in the underworld, and he goes into the underworld and does this heroic thing and saves her. And she says, I will come with you, but you have to leave and not look back. And he says, okay, cool. And he walks away, and I forget what it is, like some kind of Orpheus. Thank you, my friend. He turns around and he gets turned into salt. And this is sort of like a metaphor for, not only do you have to like learn how to trust, but when you're like walking through the underworld, the only way to get through the underworld is through. That's it. You have to go through it. If you're going through hell, go through it. Because if you stop and turn around, it's like the buffalo does this too. The buffalo is the only animal that when a storm is coming, it will charge right through the storm. Why? Because the buffalo knows that if I go through the storm instead of running away from it, the storm won't last as long. But also, the buffalo is strong enough to withstand the storm. Totally convoluted, that Orpheus and buffalo stories. But I'm gonna go look at that Orpheus story, because that, again, these kind of mythologies, like, we think they're like literal, but they're actually alchemical. They're allegorical. They're stories to tell us about what our body. Everything is just a personifications. The gods, they have physical forms. They look like just big humans, big shiny humans. I think we got a little Sodom and Gomorrah too. Yeah, exactly. New Turned into a pillar of salt. Does he turn into a pillar of salt? I thought he turns into a pillar of salt. All I know is that he turns around and I think he turns into salt. I don't know. Well, I'll have to look it up and let you know. Um, but you've been great in here, Soul. Appreciate you. Um, Basically, he turns around and you know, he doesn't get what he wants. And it's like that's the equivalent of like when you dig a hole and you put a seed in there and you cover it up and you water it and you do everything you're supposed to, and you're not getting any results. You dig it up and then it's like, oh, it was growing, but now I just killed it. Like when you put an order in with the universe and then you're constantly checking, you didn't actually put an order in. I thought that was Lot's wife. Lol, he gets punished somehow though. Yeah, again, all of the mythologies and all of the systems and esoteric systems, they're all pointing us back to the physical form in the body. And once we learn how to explore the physical form in the body and we feel safe in our bodies and capable and deadly when we need to and soft when we want to be soft, like once the body actually listens to the commands that we give it and can discern when the mind wants something but the body doesn't have energy for it, and we act accordingly, we act natural, life gets really cool. I mean, life is already really cool, but life becomes genuinely something worth exploring. So anyway, guys, I gotta hop off here because my body is ready to move around and do some stuff, and this has been really fun. I really enjoyed this live. Who is new in the live? Like, just type in "new" in the chat if this is your first time in this live. And if you enjoyed your time here, you're welcome. And follow me, because I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I go live, and again, you can pretty much bring me any question that you have about spirituality. I'll share my thoughts on it. My goal again is to invite you guys into a space of learning and letting go of needing a teacher, because your body is the greatest teacher. Um, and my body has been a great teacher to me, and I want to reconvey that over and over. Like, I'm not here to be your teacher or your guru, or I don't want to be another external authority that you come check in with for permission. I want you to find that permission slip within yourself. In human design, we call that internal authority. And the best way that I know how to help people cultivate their inner authority, I created a whole membership around it with my partner Pasha, where we literally teach you how to physically map out the head and ajna with your eye drills, with your tongue drills, with your throat widening exercises. So there's physical workouts that will help you use your human design, or rather live your design, and build a body that can handle your design, as opposed to looking for somebody to analyze you and tell you who you are and why you are the way you are. Sunshine, hello. Who is this? Hello. I'm logging off right now, but your enthusiasm makes me not want to log off. But I do need to log off. I got some stuff I gotta do before some other stuff that I gotta do. Thank you guys so much for such a wonderful live. Appreciate all your guys' curiosity and receptivity, and most of all, your internal authority, your uniqueness, and your sameness. I love all of that. If you're not already following, invitation to follow. I do this stuff Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, so please tune in. All of this gets saved on YouTube, so if there's something, like you heard that you want to hear again, everything gets uploaded to YouTube. Let's see what else. I have reports that you can purchase on my website. I have one-on-one sessions available as well. And then the primary thing, like everything that I do, the best and the best bang for your buck as well, is going to be the archive. It's an online membership where we teach sensory design. Again, we'll give you the workouts to use the human design body graph as like an overlay on your body. And it's like, oh, I have an undefined head, so let me do some of these drills and etc. So it teaches you how to explore the body using the body graph, and it's awesome. People's whole fucking lives are changing. They're like reversing their aging. They're, eliminating pain in their body. They're doing all kinds of phenomenal stuff. Very unique. It's very nuanced because everyone is different. Um, and everyone's going to have a different path to, how you say, their transformation. And no one's is better than the other. And we will give you opportunities to strengthen your sense of safety when it comes to living your design, using your strategy, and using your authority. So, with that being said, I love you guys so much. Tune in with me on Friday at 9 a.m. here on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and in the archive. And again, if you guys want to join the archive, click the link in my bio. Love you guys. Peace.